Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of one of the most iconic and commonly found coins in your pocket, the 1971 Lincoln penny. But don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. Some of these humble copper coins are secretly worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, thanks to rare mint errors and unique features that make collectors go wild. Now, before you empty your piggy bank, let's uncover the mystery behind the 1971 Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance, it might look like just another old penny. But certain versions of this coin carry secrets that can turn them into real treasures. And if you're lucky enough to find one with these special features, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. The 1971 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, Denver pennies carry a small D below the date, and San Francisco proof coins have an S. While billions were made, only a few were born with rare and valuable errors that now attract serious attention from coin collectors. Let's talk about those rare errors that transform this simple cent into a highly collectible gem. First up, the 1971 double die penny. This is one of the most sought-after varieties. In these coins, the design elements were accidentally stamped twice at slightly different angles during minting. This creates a striking doubling effect, most noticeable in the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date, 1971. The doubling is bold and clear, not something you need a magnifying glass to see, and that's exactly what makes it so valuable. Another rare find is the 1971 S-proof double die obverse penny. This one was minted in San Francisco for collectors, and only a few examples have shown a strong doubling on the front side of the coin. If you ever come across one of these in pristine condition, you're looking at a seriously rare coin that collectors are hunting for. There's also the rare off-center strike error, where the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck. Depending on how off-center it is, say 50% or more, and if the date is still visible, these coins can be worth significantly more than face value. The more dramatic the error, the more collectors will pay, and let's not forget about the 1971 penny struck on the wrong metal planchet. Imagine a penny accidentally struck on a dime's blank. The result is a lighter, silver-colored coin that's extremely rare and highly collectible. These are mistakes the US Mint didn't mean to make, and that's exactly why they're worth so much now. Collectors are always on the lookout for these oddities. Even a small die crack, a clipped planchet, or a strike-through error, where a foreign object like a piece of wire or fabric gets pressed into the coin, can make your penny worth far more than 1 cent. These quirky features turn an ordinary coin into a story, a piece of minting history, and that's what collectors live for. Now, let's get to the part everyone's been waiting for, the real market value. A regular 1971 Lincoln penny without any rare features is typically worth just 1 cent in circulated condition. But a 1971 double die Lincoln cent in excellent condition has sold for over $1,000. A 1971 S-proof double die obverse penny in pristine condition has fetched more than $3,000 at auction. And if you find a 1971 penny struck on the wrong planchet or with a dramatic off-center error, you could be looking at several $100s or more, depending on rarity and demand. Top 2, we are stepping into the world of an ordinary coin that might just be worth a small fortune, the 1975 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States of America. You've probably seen hundreds of these pennies lying around in your change jar, in drawers, or maybe tucked away in an old wallet. But what if I told you that some of these coins, the same ones minted in 1975, can be worth far more than just 1 cent? This isn't just any coin. It's a piece of American history, carrying the face of President Abraham Lincoln and hiding secrets that only sharp-eyed collectors and lucky treasure hunters have discovered. The 1975 Lincoln penny may appear common, but under the surface, certain rare versions of this coin are turning heads at auctions and setting impressive records in today's coin market. Let's begin with the basics. The 1975 Lincoln penny was minted at 2 major facilities, Philadelphia, which produced coins without a mint mark, and Denver, which placed a small d below the date. Together, these mints struck billions of pennies in that year, making this coin one of the most circulated in U.S. history. But among those billions, a tiny number came out with mistakes, and those mistakes are what make collectors excited. Now let's talk about the real thrill: mint errors and varieties. The first type of error to look for is the doubled die. While no official 1975 doubled die has been confirmed as boldly as those from earlier years, there are rumors and minor varieties that show light doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's profile. Any doubling that's clearly visible, especially on the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 1975, can significantly boost the value of the coin, especially if the doubling is on the obverse, front, of the coin. Another exciting error to look for is the off-center strike. When a coin is not properly aligned during minting, part of the design is struck off the planchet. If the error is dramatic, say, 50% off-center, and the date is still visible, the value can jump dramatically. These off-center coins are rare to find in high grades, making them highly collectible. Then there's the clipped planchet error, a mistake where the coin blank was cut incorrectly, resulting in a missing crescent-shaped piece. Depending on how visible and clean the clip is, these can be very desirable to collectors. One of the most valuable and dramatic errors is when a penny is struck on the wrong planchet, for example, a dime or even a foreign coin blank. These rare occurrences often result in a penny that looks silver instead of copper, is thinner, or has unusual weight. If you find a 1975 penny like this, you might be holding a serious rarity. Also worth mentioning are die cracks, die breaks, and strike-through errors. These minor anomalies can add value when they're dramatic or well-defined, especially in uncirculated condition. Each one is unique, almost like a fingerprint, and that uniqueness can attract the right collector. Now, for collectors and coin lovers, the thrill isn't just in the money. It's about the story each coin tells. The scratches, the shine, the slight misprint, they all capture a moment in time at the U.S. Mint. That's what makes hunting for rare pennies so exciting. You're not just collecting coins, you're collecting history, mystery, and sometimes, pure luck. Now let's talk real numbers. What can a 1975 penny actually be worth today? A regular circulated 1975 Lincoln penny with no mint errors is still worth just about 1 cent. However, if you find one in uncirculated condition, especially in MS-65 grade or higher, it could sell for between $5 and $20. Not bad for a coin most people overlook, but here's where it gets interesting. A 1975 penny with a dramatic off-center strike has sold for over $100. A clipped planchet version in high grade can bring in $200 or more. And if you're lucky enough to find a 1975 penny struck on a silver dime planchet, one of the rarest known errors, those have sold at auction for over $1,000. Top 3, we are going to explore a coin that many of you might overlook, the 1978 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States of America. Yes, it's that small copper penny you've probably seen hundreds of times. But what if I told you that this little coin, sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, could actually be worth far more than its face value? Some 1978 Lincoln pennies have rare features and mint errors that collectors are willing to pay big money for, and today, we're diving deep into why. The 1978 Lincoln penny was part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. By 1978, the coin had already become an American icon, with its familiar design, Lincoln's bust on the obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes this year so interesting to collectors is not just the design, it's the small mistakes and rare variations that make certain 1978 pennies extremely valuable. This coin was minted at 2 locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, while those from Denver carry the small letter D under the date. In total, billions of 1978 Lincoln cents were struck, making it one of the most common coins of the late 70s. But among those billions, there are a few rare varieties and mint errors that make all the difference. Let's begin with one of the most sought-after features in the world of coin collecting, doubled die errors. While 1978 is not as famous for dramatic doubled dies as earlier years like 1969 or 1972, there are still known examples where you can spot light doubling on the obverse. If you look closely at the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or even the date 1978, you may notice faint doubling, and that could turn a regular penny into a valuable one. Another rare and exciting error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during minting, causing part of the design to be struck off the edge. The more off-center the strike, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. A dramatic 50% off-center 1978 penny can bring a high price, especially in uncirculated condition. Also, watch out for clipped planchet errors. These coins are missing a piece of the edge due to a misfeed during the blank cutting process. It creates a curved, crescent-like clip on the coin, and collectors love these types of errors, especially when they're obvious and cleanly clipped. Another exciting variety includes strike-through errors, where something like grease, fabric, or debris gets in the way during minting and leaves a strange, ghostly impression on the coin. These strike-throughs are one-of-a-kind and highly collectible depending on how dramatic and clear the error is. Some rare 1978 pennies were even struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine finding a copper penny that was mistakenly struck on a smaller dime planchet, making it lighter, thinner, and the wrong color. These errors are extremely rare, but they've shown up before, and when they do, collectors jump at the chance to own one. Now, for all the coin collectors out there, this is what makes the 1978 Lincoln cent exciting. It's not just about the coin itself, it's about the hunt, the thrill of spotting something unusual, and discovering a piece of minting history. These tiny details, the errors, the misstrikes, the unusual surfaces, are what transform a common penny into a true collector's item. So, how much can a 1978 Lincoln penny really be worth today? Let's talk market value. A regular 1978 penny in circulated condition is still worth 1 cent. However, if you have a coin in uncirculated condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, it can sell for $10 to $20. A 1978 D penny in top mint state condition has even sold for over $100. Now, the rare errors bring in the real money. A dramatic off-center strike can sell for more than $200. A clipped planchet error in good shape might bring in up to $100. And if you find a 1978 penny struck on a dime planchet, depending on the condition, it could sell for over $1,000 at auction. Top 4. We are taking a deep dive into a coin that might be hiding in your pocket change right now, the 1977 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States of America. At first glance, it looks like any other penny. It's small, copper-colored, and often overlooked. But here's the exciting part: some 1977 Lincoln pennies are worth far more than their face value. Yes, that little coin could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, if you know what to look for. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation for over a century, first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. By 1977, the design featuring Lincoln's portrait on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse had already become a classic. In that year, over 8.5 billion Lincoln pennies were struck, a staggering number, at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia have no mint mark, while those from Denver feature a small D beneath the year. With so many pennies minted, what could possibly make one so special? The answer lies in rare mint errors, striking mistakes, and unique varieties that collectors dream of discovering. Let's start with one of the most exciting types of mint errors: off-center strikes. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned in the press, and the design is struck off-center. A slight misalignment may not add much value, but a dramatic 50% off-center strike with a visible date? That's a collector's prize. Next is the clipped planchet error. This occurs when the blank metal sheet used to cut coin planchets overlaps during cutting, leading to coins with a curved bite missing. These clipped coins are visually striking and can be quite valuable, especially when the clip is clean and obvious. Now let's talk about strike-through errors, when something like grease, wire, or even cloth interferes during the strike, leaving behind unusual indentations or patterns on the coin. These coins are one of a kind and offer something truly unique to collectors. There are also die cracks, cuds, and other die-related errors where the coin shows raised lines or blobs due to damage or deterioration in the minting dies. These aren't just mint mistakes, they're pieces of minting history. While no major double die is officially listed for the 1977 penny, collectors still check every detail on the obverse carefully. Minor doubling can sometimes be found on the date, the motto, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty." Even light doubling can raise a coin's value, especially if it's sharp and easy to see. Another major error to look out for is the 1977 penny struck on the wrong planchet. Imagine finding a penny that looks silver instead of copper. It could have been struck on a dime planchet by mistake. These are rare, and when found, can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, especially in mint state condition. For collectors, finding a rare error on a 1977 penny is more than just a lucky day, it's a chance to hold a unique piece of American coinage history. Every error tells a story. It reflects a split second in the minting process when something went off script, and now, that mistake could be in your hands. So, what are these 1977 pennies actually worth today? A regular 1977 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is generally worth just 1 cent. But in mint state condition, especially MS-65 or higher, these coins can sell for $10 to $30 or more, depending on the quality and demand. A 1977 penny with a dramatic off-center strike has sold for over $100. A clipped planchet error in good condition can fetch $70 to $150. And if you're lucky enough to find a 1977 penny struck on a dime planchet, it could bring in $500 to over $1,000 at auction, depending on the condition and certification. Top 5, and last coin, we are diving into the fascinating world of a coin you may have seen 1,000 times without knowing its hidden secrets, the 1980 Lincoln penny, 1 cent from the United States of America. This little copper piece may look ordinary, but certain rare versions of it are worth serious money, and collectors are always on the hunt. Let's start with a basic fact. The 1980 Lincoln penny was made during a time when the U.S. Mint was still using 95% copper, before switching to the cheaper zinc core in 1982. This means every penny from 1980 has real copper content, making it already more valuable than face value. But that's just the beginning. Millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Most of them are common. But not all. The real excitement lies in the errors, rare, fascinating mistakes that can turn a single cent into a collector's dream. One of the most sought-after errors is the 1980 double die. A double die occurs during the minting process when the die that strikes the coin gets misaligned during creation, leading to a doubling of the design. In the case of the 1980 penny, doubling has been found especially in the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These doubling effects are very clear to the naked eye, making them popular among both beginner and expert collectors. Another rare variety is the off-center strike, where the design is not correctly centered on the planchet. The more off-center the strike, and the more of the date that is still visible, the more valuable the coin. An off-center 1980 penny showing over 50% of the design missing, but the date clear, can fetch high prices. There are also broad-struck errors, where the collar that normally shapes the coin's edge is missing during the strike, resulting in a coin that appears wider and flatter. When such errors are found on older copper pennies like the 1980 issue, they attract serious attention, and let's not forget the small details. Coins with strong mint luster, full sharp strikes, and no contact marks are much harder to find today due to circulation. A high-grade, uncirculated 1980 penny with full red color can be worth far more than you'd expect. Collectors love this coin not just for the potential value, but also for its place in history. This was the era of Ronald Reagan, the Cold War, and economic shifts. A 1980 Lincoln penny is like holding a little piece of American history in your hand, struck with the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, two symbols of unity and strength. So what is the real value of this coin? A regular 1980 penny in circulated condition may only be worth a few cents due to its copper content. But when we talk about rare errors or coins in top mint state condition, the story changes. An uncirculated 1980 Lincoln cent graded MS-67 red has sold at auction for over $1,200. A double die error variety from this year has reached sale prices up to $800. Off-center strikes and broad-struck errors can fetch anywhere between $50 to $300, depending on rarity and condition. So next time you come across a 1980 penny, take a closer look. You just might be holding a tiny treasure that's worth far more than 1 cent.